If you can't manage your dimes, then you can't manage your dollars.
I'd love for the listeners to know a little bit about who you are real quick. Who are you?
Yeah, sure. I'm Vance Cast, and I'm a note owner. I'm an investor. I created this methodology for accounting for trading in the futures markets. The most important part of any company is the forensics. It's the accounting, and you have to know how to do it. You have to control your variables. Almost everything you hear on the internet is bad advice. Sounds good, sounds practical, but it's bad.
You have a bunch of clients and you guys are just deciding what to do with that, right?
Each one of the people that's a member of our group, they manage their own money. We have other people that have literally made millions of dollars on our group. And when you start trading, I don't care if you're poor or if you're a multimillionaire, you start your account with $3,000 in one contract.
To get more creators on Play TV, we need more users. And then in order for more users to use Play TV, we need more creators. And so that's kind of the dichotomy of the challenge right now. And so by bringing on people like me that I have reach, but I'm not like $1 million big contract signee, right? And so they're being really smart with this because we're thinking, yeah, we could sign if we're going to try to get Tucker Carlson on Play TV, that would be an astronomically big contract that it like outside of it not even being possible. Like just the money to throw at that would be insane. Or you could get 20,000 creators for the same amount. And so I think that's
same money.
Yeah. And they're playing smart.
Well, that's very interesting. You know, I was a creator, a host on iHeartRadio. And we started off with the show to be a call-in show, call-in financial show. iHeart, as it goes on, especially after the death of Rush Limbaugh, started becoming more and more right-wing and more kind of commercialized right-wing radio, if you will.
Yeah.
And the listenership seems to be getting older and older in the demo. And so I was seeing that reflected in the people that were calling our company. Because the content wasn't really changed. We went to more of an infomercial type of a layout because it just had better returns, direct responses. But what happens is when you have certain people that are prominent on the radio, the listenership kind of goes that way. So I think it's smart because I don't think Play TV wants to brand itself as strictly right wing. So if you got like Tucker Carlson, now Tucker's kind of shifting a bit.
He is.
Right?
Yes.
He's becoming more moderate and a little more, I think, common sense.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't want probably Sean Hannity on it.
No.
You know, because then you'd be like too right wing and then your listenership wouldn't be as diverse as you probably want it to be.
Yeah.
I'm just guessing. I don't know how you feel about it.
And Parler will probably always be a mainly conservative platform. That's probably the reality of it. Now, I think that we're going to see a lot more moderate users start coming on board. And I had a great talk with Jason last night. I think we're going to see, even just with the influx of Elon and X and just like, I think we're going to see a lot more users start to flock over that are not like these die-hard, either crazy right-wing or I think we're seeing a lot of moderate users, but you're right. They've been really smart where like the Kaiva wallet, you know, it's its own brand. Cardix, it's its own brand. And they're being really smart in the way the whole ecosystem's being built on an Optio, and then getting Kevin Harrington on board on Cardix, which is a former shark, and having 100,000 of his companies come on site. Like Cardix is its own thing. It's not affiliated with, you know, it's its own entity. And so Play TV is the same way. And so I'm not an overtly political show. I interview mainly entrepreneurs. I have my opinions, and my guests and myself are very welcome to be honest and share exactly what their opinions are. Like the best compliment I've gotten is people listen to my show and they're like, you know, it's a Joe Rogan style interview. And that's what I want it to be. And so, yeah, but I don't want Play TV to turn into just another right-wing video app. Like, and that's not the goal of it.
A rage app.
No, it's not. And
yeah.
And so like I've gotten
people are moving away from that now.
They are.
They're getting tired of the rage apps. You know, they're getting tired of these tails fighting each other and the dog being ignored.
Yeah. And I think the cool thing with Play TV that's really unique is the fact that you get to grow two ecosystems. So I'm speaking as a creator. I have a Twitter account or an X account. I have a YouTube account. I have a Facebook account. I have an Instagram account. I have a TikTok account. And I'm trying to build all these ecosystems simultaneously, but they're all separate, right? If I get a follower or subscriber on Play TV, that's also a follower subscriber on my Parler account. If I get one on Parler, they're linked. So I can actually build two ecosystems at the exact same time.
Oh, nice.
And so as a creator, I'm like, dude, that is incredible. So if someone follows me on Parler, they're now going to get notified if I post a Play TV video.
What's your strategy there? Do you use Parler as a commercial for your Play TV segments, basically?
So Parler's a sponsor of my podcast.
Okay.
And so I will do ad reads for them and I'll give them shout outs. But no, I don't. I will post on Parler when I make a Play TV video to try to funnel my Parler followers and like, hey, go check me out on Play TV. But yeah, but I mainly shout out Parler more than Play. But for example, one of the things that I've started to do with my podcast consulting, for example, if someone was to see an example of the work that my video editing team does, I'll send them my show on Play TV. I don't use YouTube anymore. So like whenever I'm giving examples of my podcast, it's all Play TV. And then I send it to business owners in Detroit. They're like, wait, what's this Play TV app?
Right.
I'm like, oh, this is like a really cool decentralized YouTube.
Right.
And they're like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Do you utilize YouTube at all?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's my biggest following. YouTube's my biggest following.
Good.
Yeah. And so I did 1 million views on YouTube last year.
Yeah.
Just started the podcast only 2 years ago. So,
but you're advertising to the people watching your stuff
Yes.
with the Play TV.
And then
Very smart.
Everyone on YouTube, on the description has a link to create a Parler account. So we try to do that in my newsletter. Every newsletter, there's a link to create your Parler account.
Great.
And so I do as many things as I possibly can because I'm a node owner.
Right.
And I'm also a creator on the platform. And I believe in the vision of free speech. I believe in the mission of having a decentralized blockchain powering social apps. And so I, as a creator, want this to succeed as well. And I want other creators on here too.
That's cool. I've been preaching that since 2017. And then when Parler was hit, and kind of deplatformed off the database, right?
It's wild.
I won't mention any names, but
you can. No,
but I've been using Parler as an example, and then and I don't know why I didn't pick up the phone 4 years ago and find out what was going on with Parler. I guess I'm stupid. I don't know.
No.
But I've been preaching that for a long time, using Parler as an example. And then come to find out Parler was working and Optio and rest is history. I said, hey, I'm on board. They built what I've been trying to find somebody to build. So it's amazing. It's an amazing opportunity.
So 2 questions then, with that being said. I'd love for the listeners to know a little bit about who you are real quick. And then I'd love to know, how did you find the whole Optio and Parler team? But before you answer that, who are you? Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you for coming. And let the listeners know a little bit about who you are and a little bit about your life that got you to this point.
Yeah, sure. I'm Vance Cast. And fast forward to 2009. I had a gentleman call me up and say, "Hey, a couple of buddies and myself, we're looking for." There's about 25 of them actually. We're looking to invest together daily, and we've been looking at this creator on YouTube, and something doesn't quite seem right. Can you take a look at it for us? Now, here's the funny thing, because we come full circle. Right now, we're sitting in Plano, Texas, right?
Right.
So before the way I met all these guys is they all worked with EDS. Right down the street. So we were doing a contract for NASA, and the Redstone Arsenal in Huntsville, Alabama. This is where I met these guys, and they taught me how to trade. Or we traded together, and we worked on a couple of projects, real high account stuff. And so they called me up, and they said, "Could you take a look at it for us?" I said, "Sure." And of course, YouTube was first coming out, and all of that. So I looked at this guy, and I said, "Well, here's what he's doing. It's kind of a flim-flam artist here, smoke and mirrors thing." And they looked at it and they go, "Oh, that's what they were doing." They said, it was real obvious something was wrong. So I said, I tell you what, I'm kind of in transition right now in my life. I said, I've got some time. I'll find you somebody. I'll find you somebody to follow. Because what they want to do is they wanted to meet every day and trade, or not every day, maybe 3 times a week, but during trading hours and trade something. And we kind of decided we probably wanted to trade the S&P 500 E-mini, which is on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. And so I looked at literally dozens of companies, dozens of influencers, and it was all BS. Every one of them could not find anybody that had a credible program that they could utilize and a platform that they could get on and use. And they wanted to do something more sophisticated and follow some fake guru.
Right.
So I called my buddy back and I said, I'm sorry, I broke my promise to you. I said, I didn't find anybody, but here's what I'll do. I'll create a program for you. And I said, I'll run it for 3 to 6 months and we'll trade and we'll have fun. And I did. I created a program for them.
Like a stock trading program for them?
Yes. Well, it's trading the S&P 500 E-mini. So I came up with a trade called a D123 trade.
Okay.
Which is just an indicator, just a signal that we said, okay, it's time to examine a trade. And then I created a methodology for grading that trade. And then the most important part of investing and the most important part of trading futures is the same most important part as it is in any business.
Okay.
And that is having an accounting system.
An accounting system?
An accounting system, yeah. Because if you don't have a proper accounting system, then you can't go back and evaluate if your decisions were good or bad. So I had
Sure, that makes sense.
So I had it's just like I tell people, if you have a pizza company, a lot of people get in, hey, my aunt told me I make the best pizza in the business, I'm going to start a pizza company. Well, just because you can cook a good pizza doesn't mean you can run a company.
Right.
So I'll ask them, I'll say, well, how much did you spend on cheese last week? They're like, I don't know. I said, well, you're not running a company, you're running a hobby, right?
Yes.
The most important part of any company is the forensics of that company. It's the accounting. And accounting isn't bookkeeping. Accounting is the way that you look at your inventory, you look at, progress in anything or the status of anything in your company.
Yeah. And
then balance the load.
You should be doing that on trades too.
You should be doing that on trades. And you have to know how to do it. So everybody thinks the accounting of trades or maintaining a track record is about the bookkeeping of it. It's not. You have to control your variables. And almost everything you hear on the internet is bad advice. Sounds good, sounds practical, it sounds intuitive, but it's bad. So I created this methodology for accounting for trading in the futures markets. And we were so successful in the first month with this program that was private, that half of the guys said, they're like, we've never seen this before. Like, we've been investing, some of these guys are 50, 60, 70 years old. We've never seen this before or anything like it. There's no book you can read. You can't take a course in Harvard on it. You can't, There's all the things that we do as investors, successful investors, they were all multimillionaires. But we've never seen it proceduralized like this. This is incredible. We need to take this to the public. And then I had the other half of the people in the group said, no, we don't need to take this to the public. We'll get crucified because it's the same reason a lot of millionaires don't share their secrets.
Yeah.
Because they can give you step-by-step guidance, tell you exactly what to do, but you're not going to do it.
Yeah.
It's a psychological thing, right?
Yeah.
So half of them said, no, we just need to stay away from it. We need to stay away from it. And I said, well, sounds like a challenge. So I said, here's what we do. We'll do some test advertising. And we started test advertising on Craigslist, of all places. Our first $1 million we made on Craigslist.
Wow.
Acquiring clients. And it was very successful.
Did all 25 buy into the idea at this point, or did you kind of have a small group of, did you just create your own LLC and
some dissenters?
Yeah.
Eventually, everybody was surprised. We were literally surprised at our success. It just came together and happened.
Did you have experience up to this point trading? Because like when you created the methodology, was this something that you just kind of started figuring out, or had you already been investing, trading, and kind of building your own principles of stuff up to this point?
Yeah, we'd already had basically the same methodology for trading, but it wasn't proceduralized or formalized.
Yeah.
We all did the same things. We know the same secrets.
You had the same feels, you had the same all that, but you didn't actually write it down and walk through your
Right. It
process.
wasn't actually proceduralized. We all knew the rules. We all used different indicators. We did, the tracking was all basically the same. I created the risk assessment algorithms for the tracking many years before, but in options trading, right?
And this is futures.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So similar.
I'm slow, but I'm kind of piecing it together.
No, that's exactly right. You're exactly right. And so futures is very similar to options. Couple different differences, you don't have the time decay and things like that. But the method of accounting, I kind of created it like a long time ago, and we just proceduralized it and doing something nobody else does. So we created this group, and we meet every day, 8 to 10 hours a day of trading. If you want, we have our main session is like 10 to 12 Eastern time, which is just a little bit after the market opens up until lunch.
Yeah,
that's the prime time to trade. But you can trade it 23 hours a day. But with our group, we trade like 8 to 10 hours a day, if you want, But some things that other groups do that we don't do. We don't have a follow the guru. In other words, there's not a guy on there calling trades. We have a moderator, and the moderator is there to keep order in the group, to make sure, nobody's getting off the chain. He's also there in between trades to give a class of some sort. And the class depends on what's going on that day. So we have a book that each one of our moderators has that has a bunch of different classes. And hey, if this is going on, hey, give a class on this. And so when a trade signal comes in, the moderator tells the group, okay, it's time to grade this trade. So the group collectively grades that trade, and they determine whether the moderator will take the trade or not.
Interesting. As a group.
As a group.
So it's like a democracy versus a dictatorship in a way.
Exactly. Yeah. It's kind of like a democracy versus a dictatorship. Now,
and this is managing people's money, you have a bunch of clients and you guys are just deciding what to do with that, right?
Well, each one of the people that's a member of our group, they manage their own money.
Okay.
So we don't manage anybody's money.
Okay.
We don't invest for anybody. We don't, and I've been offered tens of millions of dollars to
manage funds,
get broker kickbacks and things.
Right.
But we don't do that.
Okay.
They use their own broker. We have a charting company that we utilize called Ensign.
Okay.
That has helped us out greatly over the years.
And then what was the name of your company again? I missed that.
Delta Trading Group.
Delta Trading Group.
Trading Group. DTG. Delta Trading Group.
Okay.
So it's a peer-driven group. So if anybody reads on the internet that, we have somebody, we call trades or we broker or anything, we don't do any of that stuff. It's misinformation. We, all the peers work together. They don't compete against each other. So instead of having one mentor, you've got a few hundred peers there to help collectively make decisions.
And this was all started back with those 25 people.
Back with those original core people.
Yeah.
I told them I would run it for 3 to 6 months to help them out, and I'm still there. They're wearing me out. Wow. From 2009 to now.
And then how many people do you have in the group right now?
We've had thousands that go through. We have about 1,000 active members right now.
Wow.
But daily at any given time, we'll have anywhere between 100 and 400 people online.
So what's that look like? Let's say I want to invest my own money. I want guidance. I would go with your group and say, and do you have like minimum thresholds of people that we only work with this type of numbers that's worth the time? Yeah. Well, it's very hard to determine who's going to do well and who's not going to do well. Of course.
Our worst client is, and then I'll answer that question directly. Our worst client is, or the worst client profile, and we've done scientific studies on it, is a 45-year-old white male electrical engineer who's traded before. Absolutely the worst client. Do I got an electrical engineer over there?
No, I'm just like, that's just the most specific, awesome, like pinpointed. I don't think I've ever heard someone have such a pinpoint worst client profile. That's incredible.
We run the data.
That's incredible.
Right. Yeah, from thousands and thousands of clients.
Right. Not like Hispanic. Yes, to be like, is it white?
Right.
45-year-old
white
incredible.
male. Yeah.
That's wild.
So, and you would think that would be like your greatest client. Oh, he's mathematically inclined. He can,
he has some experience. He probably has a decent 401k. Whatever.
The problem is from kindergarten, he's been trained to do all the wrong things. And he's very difficult to change his dogmatic mind.
Yeah. Engineers be like that.
Engineers be like that.
Yep.
Well, they're used to, engineers look at if they're an electrical engineer, let's just say, all engineers the same way. They have an output. They measure an output. They have all kinds of machines that are calibrated to measure outputs.
Yep.
They measure an output, and the output isn't what they want. They know exactly what to tweak in the system to get the output. Yeah. Trading isn't that way. There's a certain amount of chaos, and it's a statistical endeavor.
Yeah, and chaos is the antithesis to an engineer. An engineer wants order. They want directions and processes and systems.
Right.
That's not always how the market works.
It takes them a little longer to unlearn what they're doing because they insist on trying to make the wheel rounder.
Funny enough.
Yeah.
Not this, but like with supplemental insurance, engineers are also our worst clients.
Really?
Yeah, because they want to do the math of exactly how much they're paying versus what cash they might get back from the plan on what injury that might happen. That like, because they and it's
right.
It's the same thing. So if I open up an engineering firm, I know that like a lot of plans probably won't be sold.
Right.
So it's interesting how there's definitely a correlation there. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I can visualize it.
Yes.
It's the same thing with us.
Yeah. But anyway, so continue. Sorry, didn't interrupt.
No, that's okay. So the way that it works is people used to hear our radio show. We would offer them a couple free days to come in and view what we do behind the scenes.
Sure.
And then our representatives would talk to them and see if it's for them. And we would run through the numbers and see if it's something that they have proper expectations on. So I'm all about expectations. So when people come in, we prepare them. In today's world, every time there's an offering, people think they're going to come in and see a presentation or a webinar and then get beat up by a closer. We don't operate that way. We skip that. And then so sometimes they're a little confused. Wait a minute, I'm just thrown right in here. I just said I want to be a heart surgeon. Now I'm in an operating room watching a heart surgery.
Yes.
What's that pink thing there? And then, so we did everything we tried to do everything that the scammers weren't doing or avoid everything that the scammers do.
Right.
At one time I said, I'll never have an informational website.
Why was that?
Because you can't explain it.
There's a lot of opinions that people could derive off that information that
Correct.
are wrong, or
they won't understand.
No context,
no context. They won't. They won't understand the context. I call it the foundation. They won't understand the foundation.
Yeah.
So we have to. It takes some time and some grooming and some exposure and real conversations. And people don't want to take the time to have a real conversation. They want to watch a 7-second sound clip and think that now they know everything.
That's not how it works.
I wish.
It's like I've been on Instagram Reels, man. I'm an investment guru now.
Exactly.
Yeah. Watching Gary Vee like crazy. I'm gonna buy some NFTs later.
Exactly. Yeah. Gary Vee's getting into heart surgery next. I know.
Is he? Yeah.
If you need your appendix out, he's got a how-to.
Yeah. I believe that, dude. Yeah, he'll probably just buy one at garage sale. Honestly, find his next appendix on a deal. But someone's garage, rip it out of them. That's the funniest thing. I'm sorry. Side note: when Gary Vee, it's like a millionaire, and he's like yelling at people at their homes, like, this club is 3 cents. He's like, no, give it to me for 1 cent. You're like, dude, you're a millionaire. Just buy it for 3 cents, dog. I don't know if you've seen his garage sale stuff, but it's so funny. It's like, just Gary, quit trying to screw these people out of money. But
next, you might find like a real estate guru to double down with. I
don't know. Yeah, they're probably gonna go 10x.
They're gonna go 10x.
Yeah, that's probably what they're gonna do. Find some grants.
Exactly.
I could say names. See, I don't get in trouble. Yeah. That's funny. But the one thing I will say, I appreciate that you don't have a closer, because my wife, like, that is the worst Like a quick story. My wife and I, we went on an Aflac paid vacation to Cabo, all inclusive. And my parents were part of a, what do you call it when you have like the
Timeshare?
Timeshare. Yes. And I paid to get out of it. It was a terrible experience. But they would always go to the timeshare presentations to get like a free dinner, a free whatever, free night, show, whatever. And so when we were there, we got approached by one of the people working there at the all inclusive, and they were like, "Hey, if you attend this like 30-minute sit down thing on our vacation packages, you get like a couples massage, you get a free excursion." It was like worth like $500 or $600, and I'm like, okay, like whatever. So we attended the thing. It wasn't a group presentation. It was a one-on-one breakfast with this American guy. And like, I'm a sales guy, so I'm watching him and I know what he's doing. Right. But I'm also like a empathetic sales guy. So I'm still listening, and I'm like, no, like when we sat down, I told him straight up, like, just so you know, we are only doing this so we can get the free stuff. Right. He's like, yeah. We were told that it was an hour and a half of us saying no. Yeah. Like, we were like, no, we're good. He's like, okay, what if we just restructure it this way? No. Okay, what if we restructure it? No. Like, and then they'd bring someone else over. They'd bring someone else over. And eventually, like, they got us. Yeah. Oh, did they? Yeah, but not in a normal timeshare.
You came out with a fat lip and a cauliflower ear?
Yeah, dude. Yeah. I mean, they beat the crap out of us and emotionally. And but it's in theory, it was a great deal. In theory. But we just didn't. It was like a 15 or 30 year timeshare. And then once it's over, then you're not locked in for life. Right. They got it down to like 5 years. It was like a 5-year trial run for me and my wife. Right. And it's like, and then at the end of 5 years, we also get a free week of an all-inclusive resort, which is pretty much the amount we paid into it over the course of 5 years. So we're really like front paying for a free week. And then there were other perks too. So at the end, we were like, it was so cheap. Like, it wasn't this massive contract. Right. We were like, screw it, dude. Like, we'll just say yes so we can just go have some fun. Like, so they kind of got us. But I'm like telling you, the whole time we were just sitting there like, this is miserable.
Sweating bullets.
Yeah, man. Like,
I'd rather go through Hurricane Andrew than this.
Like, can I have cancer? Then I was getting, like, this is insane. But no, so that closers, people feel the pressure, man. I mean, it works, but it's just not good business.
Yeah, our closers need to be skilled. You know, we do consultancy, right? Of
course.
So we want to find out what's right for them, which puts everybody into a tailspin, right? Because they're used to being pounded on.
Yeah.
And so you really have to ask them to join, and you have to keep them on the line to get a client, because at that time it was $15,000 to join our group, and $5,000 subsequent years. Which,
do you take any of the revenues for the investments, like when they're like, if they're making money or whatever? So
no, we don't.
It's just a flat fee.
It's strictly
it's an education fee.
It's an education platform and a peer platform. That's it.
That makes sense.
And that's all. It's just straight up. That's what it is.
Yeah, you're paying for it. That makes sense.
So we have, then they come in. We give them an academy just so that everybody's talking the same language.
Yep.
And then every day, like I said, you're there with a moderator. And they decide whether they're going to take a trade or not. And then every trade that they decide, the moderator tracks it. And we have some incredible results.
I feel like that's a great deal.
Oh, it's a fantastic deal. And it goes, one of the hard things about it when we were talking about advertising, right? And everybody wants a 7-second sound clip.
Sure.
Is a lot of our successes come in not just from the trading. We've had people that got together and built a hotel down in Central America. We have other people that have literally made millions of dollars on our, about once a year, I bring something special to the group. 1 year it was cryptocurrency. Another year during COVID, it was investing in very specific stocks so they could understand the index as a whole.
Yeah.
Other years.
Precious metals at all?
Yeah. I brought Optio to my group. I don't know how many. I've got like 50 node owners.
Yeah. Really?
Something in Optio that I brought.
That's
great. I brought from my group. And pretty much if I bring it to the group, they do it.
Yeah, of course.
I never brought them a loser. And so there's a lady in our group. I'll give you an example. So during COVID, I'd come back from Asia and I said, okay, we're going to learn how to value stock, independent stock, just like we do the index.
Okay.
And I want everybody here, if you got a lot of money, you want to put a lot of money in it, great. But only put the money you're willing to lose. I said, if you don't have much money, I said $50. But I want you to buy at least one airline stock, and I want you to buy at least one cruise line stock.
Okay.
And I want you to look at the current valuation, because they were all down, right? They were all crashed.
Yeah.
And then I said, I want you to find your exit point before you get in.
Torched.
Yeah, they were hung.
Yeah.
And I said, you figure out what your exit point is going to be. Figure out your ratios, just like we do on a daily basis with the S&P.
Okay.
And I want you to buy the stock. And they all did it. And then one of the ladies in there, she was a member of our group, I think less than a year, but she was quickly going to be a moderator. And she did it. And so from that March or April to December, she had made enough money in stocks, right? Just stocks, to buy her husband a new motorcycle, riding jacket, and helmet. And she said, without Delta, I never could have done that. Now, was she a multimillionaire overnight? No.
Yeah.
That's not the point.
Yeah.
The point was she did something that was life-changing. And she was able to do this for her husband. And she'd always wanted to be able to do that.
Yeah.
But didn't have the money to do it. And she did it on the side lesson, or by one of the lessons from our group.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of people. I had a guy in our group. He had pizzerias, and he had a few of them. And when he joined our group, we're finding out, we always try to know our clients real well. Well, why do you want to get into trading? I'm just sick of my pizzerias. I'm tired that every time something happens, I have to ruin my weekend when a manager doesn't show up.
Yeah.
I have people stealing pepperoni. I've got, all these employee problems and just a bunch of problems.
He's ready to be done.
He's done.
Yeah.
Right. So 2 years goes by, and he calls me up. He says, Doc, I just want to thank you, man. I said, what? He says, you changed my life. Delta Trading Group changed my life. I just want to thank you, Doc. I said, so trading's going pretty good? He goes, no, I suck as a trader. I said, well, what's going on? He says, well, you remember when I first started, I just hated my company. I hated everything about it. He says, but trading made me wake up in the morning and look in the mirror and go, my behavior is bad. I caused all my own problems. He says, the dime dropped where I realized every problem I had in my company, I caused. Or the buck stops with me. He says, I went back to basics. I went back to basic economics, the basic politics within the company. He says, I've doubled my company now, and my revenues are up to like 400%.
Wow.
And he says, but I still suck as a trader. he says, but what the...
Still a net positive right there.
Yeah. And he found it where he wasn't looking for it.
Yeah.
And that's part of our group, is a self-realization of how you lie to yourself every day. You make promises to yourself, and we all do that.
Yeah.
But that's something you can't, I wouldn't get on the radio and say, hey, join our trading group and you're going to suck as a trader, but your life is going to change for the better.
Right.
I mean, that's not a good pitch, but we'll find a lot of people that happens with that. Most of them, it turns out he was a pretty good trader, but he wasn't making the money that he thought he was going to make trading. And then it goes the other way too, where people make a lot of money trading, but they had to go through a brick wall to get there. Talk about the engineers.
Yeah.
I have a visual that you might like. You ever see like Liar Liar with Jim Carrey?
The show? Yeah. Oh yeah, the movie. Yeah.
And he can't
help but tell the truth or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah. And he's in the bathroom. He's throwing himself up against the wall, and the guy walks in and he says, what are you doing? He goes, I'm kicking my own ass.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
That's the vision I have of our engineers. They do that and I use engineers.
Yes. As the joke.
Yeah, as the joke for, people that way. Because some of them come in and they see it. It's easy. It's super simple, but it's hard to do. It's like losing weight. Super simple. You don't need a nutritionalist to lose weight.
Yeah.
You just got to put
a little bit of discipline. Yeah.
A little discipline and you're good.
Yeah.
But that's a problem. It's so simple, but it's hard to do.
Right.
Trading is the exact same way. It's very simple. So they see how simple it is, and then they can't do it, and they get really frustrated with themselves, and they go through this self-torture for a long time. And that's our job. We help them through the self-torture. And we give them a way to be accountable with other members of the group, with their peers. And when they have a problem, it always comes down to their attitudes and the way they look at things. And then they start listening to people about, oh, you got to change your attitude. You got to take the emotion out of trading.
Yeah.
And we don't ever say that. We say, keep your emotion. Your emotion's good. Change your behavior. Don't try to change your emotion. You can't change your emotions.
Yeah.
But you can change your behavior. You can look at your emotions and still take the right action. And so the group is really a support group to get people to do that. And the epiphanies that they have along the way is the thing that really excites me. We sit down, we talk about trading, but the excitement is at how it really changes the fundamentals of their lives into success.
What's some of the bad advice that you mentioned? YouTubers earlier, influencers, and you're all like, they're all just giving bad advice. Is there any like common, like just, these is just, you hear it a lot. Watch out for this. If there's a guru out there saying whatever, be careful. Like, is there just a common thread of bad advice you hear a lot of?
Absolutely. Let me start that off by talking a little bit about cryptocurrency.
Okay.
When you, because this is some homework I give some of my people, I'll give them a cryptocurrency influencer. I'll say, go watch this guy. Go watch these videos. They do technical analysis on cryptocurrency, and they get real deep in this technical analysis. It looks really good. It looks really promising, but it's all BS. You can't invest in cryptocurrency like on technical analysis. It's all fundamental utility. Hello.
Yeah. Right.
Right. So I've been really hot on that. So everything that they show on the charts is like true, but it's Monday morning quarterbacking, right? You can, Monday morning, you can look at the game and go, hey, this is what went right. This is what went wrong, yada, yada, yada. But you don't have a prediction of the future.
Right.
Same thing with those technical analysis. Everything that they're technically saying is like correct according to like
the data that they got or whatever.
Right. And the verbiage that they put it to, but it's not predictive in nature. So the lie is that is predictive in nature. Right. It's like all the words are true, but the story isn't. It's kind of like lying through omission. Right. So I use cryptocurrency a lot as an example. And then I have investors that will disagree with that. And then I just say, well, I started where you started. Let's compare accounts. Right. Like, you want to play with me? I'll play. Let's play.
That's a mic drop moment right there.
Yeah. I mic drop them, and then they get really mad. And then eventually they come around. They're going, well, I guess you do know something I don't know.
Yeah.
You live in a castle. You live in a castle on a mountain that you own. Like, you might know something I don't know.
Yeah.
Right. So, then I have to get, and they go, that was really arrogant. And I'm like, not really. You brought it to me.
It was for your own good.
Yeah. You threw the pitch. I just hit it.
Yeah.
Right. I'll drop my bat if you want, right along with the mic.
Yeah.
Either one.
Yeah.
So some of the bad advice that people have on trading, because I see a lot of people out there. Is this going to be like you might be a redneck if?
Yeah. Okay. There you go. Yeah.
You might be a bad trader if you do.
Yes, exactly.
So one thing is you'll hear all the time, let your gains run and cut your losses short.
Okay.
You got to learn to let your gains run and cut your losses short. Yeah. I just want to like jump through the screen and slap them. Like, why are you telling these people this bad news? Well, here's the deal. When the market's going up, any monkey can press the button and get in a long trade.
Right.
I'm going along. Press the button. It's going up. Boom. Bam. Right. But it's not about when to get into a trade. It's when you get out of the trade. And the risk management deals with the amount of money that you're targeting opposed to the amount of money that you're risking. And what the probability is of that position, you losing before you win. Right. So we have some very specific formulas for that. Very simple, because they're the same in every trade. So rather than teach people how to get out of a trade, we already know every trade we get into, we're going to exit at 4 points gain or 3 points loss. Every trade, every one of them. We don't change it. And the reason we don't change it is because, think about it. If you change a variable, like you have something set, and then you change your variables, can you measure your success?
Yeah, it changes the whole data set, right? Like it's useless now.
It changes the whole profile.
Right.
So you can't do the accounting.
Right.
So we have certain variables that we fix so that you can then change the accounting. So, we know through regressive analysis, we know exactly what the variables are and how much they contribute to the overall winning profile, in terms of money.
So 4 and 3, and I'm sure you've done analysis on why it's better than 5 and 2, or
Yes.
7 and 6, or what was special about those numbers?
4 and 3. So we do a couple different things. We work on 5-minute time frames, which 4 and 3. There's a lot of little variables you keep the same. It's about survivability. So investors will say, the key to making money is not losing money, right? Don't lose money. Because if you have, let's say you have $1,000, right? And let's talk percentages. If you have $1,000 and you lose 50% of that money 1 year, then you're down to $500, right?
Right.
What percentage do you have to make then to make up that money back to 1,000?
100%.
And that's just.
See that math, Isaiah? Let's go. Sorry, I'm not good at math, and I did that.
That was
I'm really
fast.
proud of myself.
That was fast.
Thank you.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it's unreasonable to make 100%, right?
Yeah.
So it's much easier to lose 50% than it is to make 100%.
Yeah.
So you don't lose money. Don't lose money, right? So it's about survivability.
Gotcha.
And we have a very fixed formula for how to. We don't go for larger gains. We don't go for
the home runs.
Trading more. We don't go for home runs. We go for base hits. And what we do is when you reach a certain level at one contract, you then move to 2 contracts and use the same mathematical formulas for 2 contracts.
What are
a contract?
Yeah.
Think of contract as like a stock, but a contract is this. They're called, now in futures, it's not legally called a contract for difference, but same thing.
Okay.
So let's call it a contract for difference. So you're looking at your charts and you say, look, I'm going to take a trade right here and I'm going to go long. So I'm going to do a long contract. And a contract is a promise to your broker that, let's say the price is at $4,000, right? If the price goes up and you get out, the broker is going to pay you the difference on that one contract between the price you entered and the price you got out.
Okay.
If the price goes down, you're going to pay the broker the difference between the price you got in and the price you got out. So it's a contract between you and your broker.
Okay.
So you're not really physically trading a commodity, you're trading a contract. So one contract, if it goes up 4 points, you'll make $200. If it goes down 3 points, you'll lose $150, right? But when you start trading 2 contracts, so you click the button, it's 2 contracts. Now when you win, you make $400, and if you lose $300. And the
math just keeps separating itself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so eventually you want to be a 10 or 20 contract trader. And so we get you from.
And that's just the protection of large numbers, right? Like it's like the more you have running, even if you lose some, you're still going to be probably with the 4-to-3 ratio being okay.
Well, at a 4-to-3 ratio, if I take a trade with one contract, if I win one, I make 4 points. If I lose one, I lose 3. I still have a net 1. So you only have to be a 50-50 trader to make a ton of money.
Right.
Because if you make our goal is 1 point a day or 5 points a week, 5 to 10 points a week. Don't want you making any more than that and no less than that. If you're not making 5 points a week, then you quit trading live and you go back to simulated trade and find out what's going on.
Okay.
You've got hundreds of people in the group to help you.
So like people that are doing this, the typical term for this is day trading, where it's like very quick, specific trades, not like just long-term investing, right?
Correct. Day trading. So we trade futures, which is an intraday trading, right? Typically when somebody says day trading, I know they kind of mix it up now. Day trading is specifically for like stocks and
penny stocks,
assets and like that, getting in and trading. The tax on that is very difficult to manage. But with the S&P 500, your broker manages your overall profit and loss. So the taxes are very easy to manage. And mostly, now I'm not your accountant, I'm not your lawyer, but typically 60% of your gains is long-term capital gains.
Okay.
Unless you're doing it through a business and there's different structures, right? But as an individual, typically 60% of you. So it's very favorable taxation on your gains. And you're not, it's not like every trade you're keeping track of it and all that. It's just at the end of the year, your broker goes, this is what you won, this is what you lost.
Are most of your members, this is their first full-time job? Like they're making their income now by trading?
No, most of them not.
Okay.
Most of them are not making their income by trading. A lot of them, we have a lot of real estate agents. Kind of the profile is somebody that is reasonably intelligent.
I'm out.
You're out?
Yeah. Isaiah could do it, though.
Yeah.
Isaiah's smart.
Yeah, I don't know how I ever got into it, but they have to be reasonably intelligent. They have to have, reasonable goals and expectations.
Sure.
And they have to look at this as a long-term endeavor. You don't start college and 2 weeks later you're a CPA.
Right.
It's kind of one of those things. But unfortunately, the market pitches it the other way around. So you have to have reasonable expectations, and you have to have some time to do it. Luckily, once you learn, and once you start building your track record, you have 23 hours a day, 5 days a week to do it.
Yeah, that's true.
So you can do it, at night. And then we have some people. So nurses.
You don't have to trade during hours of like the Wall Street.
No, not the Wall Street hours.
Okay.
It starts at about 6 o'clock on Sunday.
Okay.
It goes until about a little after 4:15 on Monday. Then it shuts down for an hour.
Okay.
Starts up for a few minutes, shuts down again.
Really?
For a little bit. And then, so it's like 23 hours a day from Sunday at 6 o'clock to Friday at 4 o'clock.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense because I'm like, if I own a business, and let's say I wanted to trade when I'm not running my business,
right?
You'd have to take my mornings off to trade or whatever, and I didn't know how that was functional for a lot of people.
Yeah, some of it, we have America's pretty big, so we've got several time zones. So people on the West Coast can get up really early, trade the opening bell or pre-opening bell, and get that movement. And I have some people that's all they do is they trade the opening bell, trade for 45 minutes a day. Other people, they catch the tail end on the other side. Some people trade at night.
And really, it's just people that they want the control, and they enjoy the system and they want to do it themselves.
Correct.
So then what's?
But go ahead.
No, I'm just like, so what's if my listeners are like, hey, this is interesting. I'm like, why would someone do this versus just work with a broker, like a normal person that manages their Roth IRA and that kind of stuff?
Yeah. So that would be an investor.
Yeah.
Right. An investor.
That's the word I was looking for.
Is typically passive. As
they
much
put
as
you in a mutual fund, just kind of watch it,
Yeah.
capital funds, let it just American funds, whatever, let it sit there. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you have an advisor or a planner to do that for you, or you do it yourself and you just let it sit. So this is active trading.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about it that we didn't, it's really funny because the writing was on the wall when my friends came to me and said, hey, we want to trade together and just have this little thing that we do, it was a social thing. And I didn't anticipate that when we brought it to people that it would be the social thing. In fact, I have a meetup group here in Dallas. And so tomorrow, my meetup group captain, he had a kind of an emergency medical thing, but a bunch of my people was going to meet me tomorrow here. So I got a meetup group here. So every major city, we had meetup groups. We also had cruises, trading cruises.
That's fun.
Events. So it was a big social thing, kind of an exclusive social group. There some really cool things have happened within the group. People have helped people. I had a medical doctor that helped a terminally ill patient.
Wow.
He's still alive.
Wow.
He did it for free because she was a member of the group. We couldn't advertise that within the group because then everybody with this
just use them.
problem,
Right.
Yeah. So, but it happened. We've had a lot of cool things.
Networking
from the social.
Yeah. And do you have people that might still use an investor for their long-term retirement and then use you guys for their side cash? They're like, hey, I want to be aggressive with this side money. This is 20% of my portfolio, but I want to be uber aggressive, trade this, and then I still have my, Roth maxed out and yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, we do that. We do that. And one of the really cool things that people don't realize is we can set people up or give them to a different company, because we don't do it internally. Once they learn how to trade, we can set them up with another company to do a self-directed IRA. And when you start trading, I don't care if you're poor or if you're a multimillionaire, you start your account with $3,000 in one contract. Because if you can't manage your dimes, then you can't manage your dollars, right? So now, if you're a multimillionaire, we have ways that we can skip certain steps or accelerate through them, but it's very planned. So everybody starts with a $3,000 brokerage account.
Gotcha.
So if they have, 20 grand to start, these companies, this is one thing that you hear online, they'll have you take out $400,000 and put it into account. And then next thing you know, you're broke.
Right. Because
we don't do that.
Mistakes. Yeah.
Yeah. You'll like, if you're our client, you'll deal with me.
Sense.
You deal with me. If I find out, and I have my ways, I find out you took a lot of money out and you're a Delta trading person with a couple of brokerage firms, and somehow I find out, you're going to get a call from me. You're messing up.
Yeah.
So we don't want people to lose their money. So they start with $3,000 and
teach them how to trade the pennies, and then they can graduate.
And then they work their way up. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Another thing that you'll hear, you'll see people do is they'll trail stops. As the price moves up, they'll move their stop up. If they're right, that sounds like a good idea. And everybody that
can you define a stop real quick for those that don't know?
Yeah,
because I don't know.
Yeah, so let's talk about it. Yeah. So a stop is like a stop. I've had enough. Uncle, cry uncle.
Okay.
So you'll place a trade, and you'll put in two targets. One is the target of the money that the 4 points.
Yep.
It goes up 4 points. I'm going to take my gain, and I'm off the table.
Okay.
The stop is I lose 3 points. Once you lose 3 points, computer gets you out of that trade.
It's the floor. It's not.
Yeah, it's the floor.
Okay.
Exactly. The stop. So what'll happen is as the price is going up, people will then start moving their stop up. So it's not at the original place they set it. They'll start moving it up. And everybody invents that.
Yeah.
And, we train you not to do that in the beginning, but it seems like everybody wants to try
And the
that.
risk of doing that is?
Well, when your stop is the least amount of money you're willing to take on a particular trade. So if you're moving it up, what you're doing is you're choking yourself out. It's like doing CPR on somebody while standing on their chest.
Right, because you're protecting yourself like you're only going to lose 3%, but if you keep moving it up and it drops...
You're out.
Yeah.
You're out of the trade immediately. Yeah. So what happens is it actually gets you out of the trade usually sooner than you would have normally got out of the trade. And it messes up again, you can't do the accounting because you're changing your target. You're changing your variables. So you can't properly do the statistics and the accounting on your performance and know if you made good decisions. So how do I know if I made a good decision if I changed my target?
Right. You can't track it. Yeah.
And then you always go back, and then it's really psychologically damaging. You go back, well, I would have hit it. I would have. And you start getting to all the woulda, couldas, and then you can start getting into the personal regret.
Next
thing you know, you're divorced.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're divorced, and your dog leaves you.
Yeah.
And
not my dog, please.
Yeah, you lose your dog even. But, so that's a very bad path. But everybody, initially thinks, oh, I thought of something.
Yeah, I'm a genius.
Right. I fixed it. Yeah, but no, we keep you away from that. There's multitudes of things that are taught out there that are just bad.
Yeah.
And until somebody busts several accounts and loses tens of thousands
a lot of people,
of dollars, they don't get it.
They learn the hard way.
They learn the hard way.
Yeah, they learn the hard way. And I think what you're doing is really unique. Because I haven't really announced this on my podcast, but I'm doing a very similar thing when it comes to companies or individuals looking to create podcasts. I sell education packages.
Yeah.
I'm going to take 2.5 years of experience, and I'm going to save you 40 to 50 hours of trying to come up, and I will teach you everything you need to know in 2 90-minute sessions, and then 30 days to ramp up your podcast. But I'm not promising you growth. I'm not promising you views. I'm just going to give you education, and there's value in that. And that makes sense to my brain versus guaranteeing numbers and taking percentages and all that kind of stuff. It's smart. It's a smart idea.
You never know how people are going to present themselves.
And you don't really know, same with you don't know if the algorithm is going to pick someone up. It doesn't You just don't know. And
Right.
you can't. And for me, I see podcast gurus and social media gurus all the time. We guarantee that if you work with us, we will,
Right.
10x your account. It's like, no, you don't
Right.
know that. And
You
you
don't
probably
know.
have bots paid
Yeah.
to make sure that you hit your quotas for them. And then the moment that if they ever stop paying you, you pull the bots and they don't actually have any real traction. They
Right.
don't have a real community.
Yeah.
They didn't build it organically.
Like the media managers,
Right. It's the same. So it frustrates me with someone. My best friend, his name Trevor, he manages YouTube channels for a living, and he does really well. Like he manages, like if you're like the top YouTubers in the world, he probably manages them. Like he does a very good job. And the misinformation, even in that field of YouTube creation and content, is just the amount of gurus that say things, and it's infuriating. So I understand to a degree when you're like wanting to slap someone through a screen,
Right.
Yeah, like or people charge astronomical fees for just junk,
Right.
and
Yeah.
and it is frustrating because I know that I built this podcast from scratch.
Right.
Watched how-to videos, figured it out, built a community, and then there's people that don't know what they're talking about, charging dumb money for the people are just getting scammed. Yeah.
Oh, we've tried to hire some of them, gone through them. We said, look, we built a really good thing on radio, AMF and radio, and like I said, our clientele started getting more and more right wing, a little bit nuttier. We're kind of a centrist. I want to have common ground people in there, people that are fiscally responsible. But,
Sure.
I really don't care what you think about
The world.
the world. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're like a family. They argue about politics and things, and in the group and this and that. So if you get offended by stuff like that, I mean, not bad. It's just like just like a family.
Yeah.
And so when we decided to, hey, look, conservative talk radio is kind of going this direction a little bit. Our clients are getting a little older and all that. And we wanted to kind of bring it to the center in terms of age and like political views and, things like that.
Yeah.
Nobody that has an axe to grind, right?
Right. Right.
Yeah. So I said, well, let's go to social media. Let's go to the internet and do a lot of advertising on there because the audience is probably way bigger than AM and FM radio.
Right.
Right. So we still haven't found anybody really credible to take us on that journey, even though, we want to have about 10,000 people in the group, and we want to make the upper part of the group it's like the black card of investing group. So we're adding cryptocurrency to it. I created a group. One of the things I talked about, stocks, right? Doing a lesson in stocks. People derived a lot of things from that. A few years ago, a lot of people were asking about crypto. They knew I was highly invested in cryptocurrency and the blockchain. And so they'd ask me about it, and we'd talk about it during the sessions. But I decided to create an account, and we created a little web page for it called Whale Account, Whale Account Live, and whaleaccount.com. And what I did was I took $1 million and I put it in a crypto account to let my members trade it and learn about it.
Wow.
I'm like, okay, this is what we're going to do.
This is their play money, their education money.
This is the education money. This is the play money. Let's do it. And our goal was I hate to say it, our goal was to 10x it.
Let's go. Shout out Grant.
That was our goal.
Let's go, Gary. Yeah. Let's go, dude.
Yeah. we didn't 10x it. We did very well.
We 20x'd it.
Yeah, why don't we 1,000 billion trillion exit?
Yeah, you just have to buy my course for $5.99. Anyway.
Yeah. So, and that was for our members.
Yeah.
And we thought,
great value.
Pardon?
Great value. Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't cost them anything.
Yeah.
So we decided to educate the people about crypto and about like what all these people out here are saying wrong. The Bit Boys and all these guys.
Yeah.
And so it worked out really well. Then things started going south a little bit. You know? And I said, well, we weren't actively trading with a lot of leverage or anything like that. We were just doing fundamental analysis on the companies, looking at the utility, looking at the adoption of their networks and things like that. And we'd move money around a little bit, but mostly buy and hold, unless a peak happened, and a couple things like that. Very, very moderate.
Right.
Did very well. The market started going the other way, so I said, okay, time to shut it down, and we'll look at it again. And so one of the things we want to do right now is, I notice with a lot of newer platforms coming up that are blockchain based, people are really getting interested in the blockchain again. So I kind of have a theory. It's worked before, and there may be some other theories that are just as good. But in order to invest in something like crypto, it really helps to understand some basic investing and basic money management. So if you want to invest in crypto, you should probably learn how to invest in like the S&P 500, a futures market.
Yeah.
So you understand the fundamentals of how companies work and things like that. Because then you can look at if you don't understand it, you look at a crypto company and go, what do they do?
Right.
But if you do understand it, you can look at the crypto company.
Market caps and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And you can ask them, what do you do? And if they can't give you an answer that a 5-year-old can understand, they're probably not doing what they need to be doing, or they don't have shit. Like there's no utility.
Right.
Like if you can't explain it, who's getting fed, who's getting a house, who's like,
correct.
Like what's the product here?
What does this do?
What does this do?
What does this accomplish?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people are investing in things that don't do anything, or they might have a network. Oh, it's a network, and it's just a network.
Yeah.
Or it's a meme coin, or it's
That's the weird thing for me with like, even Craig was talking about XRP and Ethereum, Bitcoin, Dogecoin. Like all of those are transactional coins that we give them the value when people buy the coins.
Right.
But that's it.
Right.
That's literally all it, like there could be other benefits, like, maybe it's a fast transactional thing, like, but it's just
for what?
You're right. Like if tomorrow everyone said XRP's dumb, there's no inherent value outside of people saying it has value. People disagree with whatever. That's my take on it. But then you have someone like Optio. It's because I don't know a ton about crypto. This is one I do know. It's like, what does Optio do? Oh, well, it's a competitor to AWS, and it's decentralized, and it powers apps.
Right.
Oh, so it does something. So like, to me, like buying a node it's like buying stock in a company.
Exactly.
Like it's like buying. Yeah. You have ownership in this new, company, and it's if for whatever reason, let's say Parler fails, but Kaivo is winning. Like it doesn't. The Optio blockchain is still powerful. Like it still does something. Like it's still powering Triton. It's still powering other things, and that's exciting to me. Like that makes sense to my brain because
you get it.
Yeah. And when Brian met me at AmFest, it was a conservative event, Charlie Kirk event. That's where I first met him, and someone was like, "Yo, just get Brian on your show." And when he said that to me on my podcast, it was like there were like 100,000 people around us. It was like crazy, really loud, and we're talking, and he said that, and it just clicked. I'm like, "Oh, this is the first time I've got excited about a crypto project that like it does more than just here's a coin that we say has value." And I'm like, "This is cool."
Well, Ethereum was one of the first big ones out there that said, "Hey, we're going to provide utility."
Yeah.
The problem with Ethereum is,
what utility did they say they were going to provide?
Pardon?
What utility did?
Well, the network to do things on, but that was the second part of the statement, is that when somebody else creates a layer that goes on it, the value is in that layer and then not picked up from Ethereum. So then they create other applications, based off of Ethereum, so these other layers of other things. So people see the value in those, they start investing in those, but not in Ethereum itself, not in the foundation. Something like Optio it's look at a railroad, right? So you own the railroad. Now, if you own the steam engine and the railroad cars, like those could break, but the railroad tracks are still there. Optio is the railroad tracks for Parler, for
everything
Kaivo,
else,
for everything else, Play TV, right? So if any of those go off well, then there's network traffic for Optio, and that's the That's the utility. And Optio was something that I was looking for since like 2017, really hard.
Yeah.
Because I was frustrated, the same thing. I'm like, people are asking me what to get into, but I can't name anything of value. Tron was one that I could name of value. I did really well with Tron. Bought in 2 cents and less, and got out in the 20s.
Wow.
I mean, it really did well, but it was mostly early adopter type things.
Yeah.
Who won the video wars between Betamax and VHS? Like who's responsible for that happening? The pornography industry, because they were early adopters. They're like, wow, now the video editing is so much easier now, with these cassettes. And, then eventually businesses picked up, hey, they could do pornography. So we could do sales training videos,
really? Okay.
And then, right. So
Yeah.
it's the early adopters. I owned some back in the day, they had bulletin boards, right?
Yeah.
So you dial in on
the
telephone, right? On old modems to a bulletin board. You could file share, things like that. But all the bulletin boards, what were they doing? They're pirating software. They're pirating, they're doing some gambling. There's a bookmakers on there. They're right. So it's all these, I call them the vice adopters, all the vices,
Yes.
gambling and porn
Yeah.
and sharing copyrighted material, right? So those are all the really early adopters. Same thing with the internet when the World Wide Web came on. Same thing with like every new technology, those early adopters.
The vice adopters, yeah.
Or what's that?
The vice adopters.
Yeah, the vice adopters, yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. So, and then mainstream like comes on. So we're kind of like in that stage in crypto. A lot of, right? So if you take a look at like Tron, there's a lot of gambling programs that were written on Tron. But they set the precedence for applications or dApps, decentralized applications, to be able to be written on that layer or on Tron. So that's Tron's values, is they provide the tools to do it with Solidity and stuff like that. So I was a big Tron guy, and I was hoping when Tron did the acquisition of BitTorrent, right, that all those BitTorrent nodes were going to be utilized as CDNs, content delivery networks, or as data. I was looking from the data standpoint, having a protocol for ubiquitous databases out there. But every investor every guy that runs a fund, that's a crypto fund, they're just spent. I mean, I'm like, okay, well, why would I invest in your fund rather than put my money directly into Bitcoin?
Right.
Like what's the I can never.
What do I get? What's more value? Yeah.
Yeah. What's the advantage? What's the upside? What's the upsell here? Right. But I couldn't convince anybody that a independent, ubiquitous CDN or database, that concept. And when Parler went down in 2020, I used them as an example from that.
Yeah.
Now I'm stupid because I should have called Parler 4 years ago and said, "Hey, what's up?"
Yeah.
Right? I didn't even think about it. I'm using them as an example of what went wrong and why we need this, but I never called them. And then a friend of mine called me out of the blue. "Hey, you know anything about validator nodes?" I said, "Yeah, sure." So I'm explaining to him on the phone what it is and all that. I'm like, what company are you asking about? Well, you ever heard of Parler?
And you're like, no.
I'm like,
way. Yeah.
You gotta be shitting me. I'm like, you're kidding me, right? Parler? So I said, well, let me tell you about my crusade, and then, I was just crusading in the wrong pastures.
Yeah.
I had my jousting equipment, but there was no opposing horse. Yeah. And then I decided to get involved with Optio. So I got rid of some of my holdings in Tron. I didn't get rid of all of them, but got rid of some of my holdings in Tron and came over to Optio.
And Optio has a CDN now. Like when we acquired Edgecast, like a lot of it's exciting stuff. Like I don't know much about this world. Like about I'm an insurance guy with a little media, but like from what I've been told and read and learned, like the moves are exciting. And so I'm excited to see what the next 6 months to a year for this company. And then for creators coming over on Play TV, like there's just so much cool things happening at one time.
Right.
And they're doing it right. They're building the structure first. They're building that foundation. And then they're taking it to scale. So I'm excited for it.
One of the nice things I like about Optio is how some of their planning is going.
Yeah.
Get on a couple of smaller exchanges, foreign exchanges. Don't try to pump the price.
Yeah.
Keep that subdued.
Yeah.
And if you do the math, they're nicely right where they should be.
Yeah.
With like the maximum nodes.
Yeah.
How much
Coins are out there.
And the maximum coins
Yep.
going. You divide that out and everything else, and you look at the price it is today, and you'll see that it's right where it's supposed to be.
And that's what you want, because you don't want it to be, wait, why is it inflated here? Like, you
Right.
want it to be in a good, safe number, and then they're just building out the utility. And then when
Right.
they do take it to market, the utility is already there. Like,
Right.
it's been proven, it's functional, it's working.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I think it'll be exciting for a lot of people.
Parlor, Play TV, all that. That's all proof of concept
Yep.
on how the network works.
Yep.
So they own the rails. They own the railroad tracks coast to
Yep.
coast.
And even if one of the apps don't take off, or one of them, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Like,
They own the railroad tracks.
yes. And that's the cool part about this whole thing.
Yeah.
And so, anyway, I've spent. Have you met Jason yet? Jason's the CMO, Chief Marketing Officer.
I briefly, no conversation.
Yeah, he's great. So him and I were up to like 1 a.m. last night talking
were
through
you?
a lot of the fun stuff going on. And so
Very
I'm
cool.
excited. And well, I'll tell you what, this was fascinating. For the listeners, Brian, they know Brian Ferry. Brian's been on twice.
Yeah.
So they, a lot of my community loves Brian and hearing about, when he gets talking, his stories and everything. And I was just walking by, and Brian's like, you got to interview Vance. And I said, okay. And this was phenomenal. Like, thank you for your wisdom and knowledge. Like, I can tell you know your stuff and you believe in it. And I always give my guests an opportunity to promo something, give a plug for, it could be your company. It could be for a new project you're working on. Where can people find more information? Like, you can plug whatever you want now. This is your
Right.
opportunity.
Oh, sure. Biggest thing I'd plug would be Optio and Parlor and Play TV and getting involved.
Yeah.
Getting involved and spreading the word on such a wonderful platform.
Mm.
I don't, that's one of the things that we need to do. But in terms of our company, Delta Trading Group, if you go to DTG, let me see, what would be the best? Or you could go to Delta Trading Group and give us a call if you wanted to look at options or futures trading.
Yeah.
DeltaTradingGroup.com. That's a good one.
Perfect.
Or DTGPortal.com. DTG Portal. But you're not going to find anything on those sites to learn how to trade on those sites.
Yeah.
We just invite you in to see what we do. And I'm looking forward to really getting involved deeply with the network here, with Pulse.
Yeah. Pulse is going to be great. It'll all be great, man.
It's phenomenal. And without a 2-hour dissertation before it, it's hard to explain to people why it's so good.
Yeah.
But doing things right. So
that's awesome.
yeah, I'm looking forward to getting involved.
All right. Well, your information will be in the description of the video with a link. So I'll make sure the link's right. So I'll text you or whatever before we release it, so people can find information about your company there. And man, thanks. This was fun.
Yeah, DTGportal.com.
DTGportal.com. Okay, go to DTGportal.com.
Yeah.
Check out more. And dude, this was fun. Thank you. This was
fantastic.
I learned a lot. Isaiah, did you learn something? Yeah, so Isaiah learned a lot, and this wasn't even scheduled. This was an impromptu. Sometimes the impromptu ones are the best.
Yeah, it's totally impromptu, no script.
No, it's just
No
how
script.
it works. But
He's
thank
dealing
you
with-
so much.
Oh, thank
This
you
is
so
very
much.
fun. And
Yeah.
yeah, as Vance said, guys, check this episode will be out on Play TV. So if you're listening to this episode, you want to watch it or watch clips from this episode, go to Play TV. The verticals, all this stuff will be there. You can find my account also on parlor.com, which is also a sponsor of this podcast. So thank you guys for watching this episode of The Dylan England Show. As always, like, comment, subscribe, share with a friend, family member, and peace. Have a great day. Thank you for listening, everybody, to this episode of The Dylan England Show. Thanks, man. Cool.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap. We did it.